A new but old threat is in the air. The devastating pandemic paralyzed the economy, disabled supply chains, and halted food production. All this happened amidst the disastrous effects of climate change, which many countries are already experiencing. Food inflation and hunger are haunting the world once again. To make matters worse, there is the shock of war in Ukraine, bringing an even sharper rise in food prices, as well as food protectionism. Global food insecurity is spreading, with a threat of social unrest, more oppressive governments, and a breakdown of peace. According to the UN, 69 countries are severely exposed to food inflation and food insecurity. Hunger has deepened, showing the inefficacy of existing strategies to deal with the problem. The humanitarian disaster of a food crisis is already on the radar. The world needs to increase food production in order to reduce the risk of social, economic, and political instability. We need new solutions based on international technical cooperation, since poor countries are the most affected. Brazil, 50 years ago, a huge tropical country, it was poor and had to import staple foods until it engineered an unprecedented tropical agricultural revolution. Alysson Paolinelli was the leader who drove this significant transformation. He was a university professor and deeply troubled by food insecurity. He wanted Brazil to be able to produce more food and insisted, if the soil in the tropics isn't as fertile as in the northern hemisphere, we must rehabilitate the soil and create agricultural technology for the tropics. Under Paolinelli's leadership, Brazilian and tropical agriculture changed. Research institutions and rural extension agencies were created across the country. They included Embrapa, the world's largest tropical agriculture research organization, and Embrater, which provided technical assistance to thousands of farmers.
Alysson Paolinelli reuniu as competências das universidades agrárias do Brasil. Essa foi a maior genialidade dele, porque baseada na cooperação técnica, juntando-se depois à Embrapa. E com isso, avançamos muito nas ciências agrárias, muito na produção de alimentos. Sempre foi uma liderança que agrega, que reúne talentos e confere a esses talentos uma missão. Isso é parte de todo o sucesso de Alysson Paolinelli.
Public policies were implemented to develop modern agriculture and organize producers efficiently.
Dr. Alysson Paolinelli tem na sua história, na sua trajetória de vida e de realizações, muito além de desenvolver a agropecuária brasileira, a agropecuária dos trópicos. Ele tem um papel fundamental no fomento, desenvolvimento e apoio ao movimento cooperativista. Alysson sempre dedicou a expansão da agricultura baseada na organização das pessoas, na capacidade das pessoas de se confiarem e se organizarem para poder ter mais progresso, ter mais prosperidade. E se hoje a agricultura brasileira tem 53% da sua base na organização de cooperativas, devemos isso às ideias, ao incremento e ao apoio desse grande líder que até hoje nos incentiva na inovação, no pensamento cada vez mais moderno, cada vez mais sustentável para a agricultura brasileira.
All these initiatives were part of a brilliant strategy involving technical cooperation with universities, research institutions, and funding agencies in Brazil and abroad. These efforts produced hundreds of unique sustainable tropical technologies for soil, crop, environmental, and production management. As a result, Brazil's savanna-like Cerrado region, one of the most degraded on Earth, became a major grower of food crops and supplier of food to the world, with sustainable production for food security while conserving 53% of its natural vegetation. Rehabilitation of the savanna also created a buffer zone that protects the Amazon region by hindering occupation of the great tropical rainforest. Paolinelli's vision was one of the main factors that enabled Brazil to become self-sufficient in food production in a period of only 10 years. And, largely thanks to his innovations, Brazil is now the third largest food producer and the second largest food exporter in the world. Through technical cooperation, Brazil shares its agricultural technology with other tropical countries, mainly in Africa, that seek development and food self-sufficiency.
Alysson Paolinelli, el hombre que proyectó Embrapa al escenario internacional. Brasil experimenta una transformación agrícola tropical que yo la defino la más importante a nivel mundial, y es un ejemplo que con las adaptaciones del caso debe proyectarse también a otros países de nuestra América, al África, en fin, a todo el mundo.